Now, why would you do that? Why would you do any of that? All this because you and your very pregnant self decided it would be a grand idea to stay behind during an active hurricane warning.
Wait, why haven't you left town yet? They just closed the interstate. Honey, you gotta get to higher ground.
She doesn't. And now she's giving birth to the sound of Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles in a flooded house. Oh, the house is gone. The house is gone, destroyed. Storm came, destroyed house. House is gone, flooded, now gone. House is gone. So now, she's giving birth in shark-infested waters in a pool of her own blood. Great, you got the umbilical cord. Where's the f***ing placenta lady? There's sharks around. But it's okay, guys. Guys. She's got her soothing songs for birth playlist on. She's gonna be okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. Welcome back to the channel. The clips I just showed you are from a movie that came out about a month ago, aptly named Thrash. I don't know if the irony was implied on purpose, but it's a very unfortunate choice for a title, especially if you know you're not making a major blockbuster. And let's be honest, no one could convince me that they were expecting to get an Oscar for this.
Wait. What was the plan again?
Throw the meat over there, wait for the sharks to go crazy, and boom, up they go.
But all that aside, I wanted to bring this up because it reminded me of so many other scenes just like this, where usually a female character is placed in horrendously dangerous situations that are always somehow tied to their sexuality. Like, why does she have to be pregnant during the climax of a f***ing storm for this scene to have any impact? Why can't she just have, I don't know, a sore throat or something? You're laughing, but a nasty flu can put you out of commission for a long time. It's no joking matter. Another great example of this is from one of many Bird Box wannabe movies. Remember that time when every movie was about some sort of monster that could kill you if you spoke too loud or looked too hard? Yeah. That was before the pandemic. We had no idea how good we had it. A Quiet Place is a movie about a family that lives in a post-apocalyptic world where strange creatures will kill you if you make any noise at all. So of course, the main female character is heavily pregnant and has to deliver the baby in a bathtub without screaming or crying. Yeah, you can tell this was written by a man with absolutely no concept of childbirth. And can I just say, women in real life would be way smarter in an apocalypse than what the media is trying to convince us of.
There's always a part in an action movie where the woman turns to the man and says, "What do we do now?" Oh. And honestly, what woman would ever turn to a man during a crisis situation and be like, "Hold on, what do we do next?"
Never. Yeah, ever.
No, never.
He's turning to me. He's turning to you
Thank
and going, "What do we do?"
Exactly.
No way would a woman ever choose to be pregnant or, very physically impaired in apocalyptic conditions. Hell, women right now are actively choosing not to have any kids. And it's because we're heading into a major recession and World War III is knocking because the faces in power can't keep their feelings in check. But I digress. Another great example of this is the classic slasher movies. You got Nightmare on Elm Street, where women are constantly being placed in dangerous situations while barely dressed or even straight up naked. Meanwhile, their male counterparts are fully dressed and while still in vulnerable positions, notice how their deaths are not drawn out. There's no major brawl with the bad guy crawling all over them, and even in Glenn's case, his body gets dragged down rather quickly. But the scene is drawn out for the gratuitous and frankly exaggerated violence that, of course, a woman has to witness. There's also Halloween, where the man gets a quick stab, boom, and cutaway, but the woman wearing a hospital gown, because of course underwear is forbidden here, has to awkwardly slide through a gap in the wall with a very convenient camera angle. Earlier in the movie, we also get this scene.
I'm sorry.
Brother, what's that?
Now, bud, don't be that way.
She is then drowned and boiled alive with her whole chest conveniently on display. And who could forget the classic Psycho scene? I love how she stops screaming while she's being stabbed. I know it's an old movie and standards were different at the time, but if she must be naked on screen, at least make her death look realistic. She looks more like she's in a photo shoot than anything else. I'm starting to sense a little bit of a pattern here. I think women should just stop taking showers in horror movies. It's dangerous. It's not safe in... Hell, stay away from bathrooms at all. It's not safe in there. And then there's Hellraiser, where they're doing that. The fact of the matter is we just don't see men being put in similar situations like ever. And yes, they do die brutal deaths, but the camera tends to pan away or straight up cut and leave the rest to the imagination. Meanwhile, a woman's body is presented for the viewer to watch as the camera slowly pans over her while she's being ripped apart. This is the same excuse directors use to introduce like super hyper realistic assault scenes in like apocalyptic movies or Uncharted Island movies where the characters are lost, just to show how desperate the situation is. But don't you f***ing dare have a little piece of hair on a woman's leg. God forbid a woman doesn't shave for like a week while she's stranded on an island with no way to shave. While the guy will grow the thickest and biggest beard ever known to man, she must be shaved head to toe. I had no idea they had hair removal clinics in Uncharted Islands. You know, it's actually a requirement. Every abandoned place and apocalypse must have, by law, hair removal clinics. And there's actually a razor in every single tree. You don't know that? Should know that. It's realism. There is, however, one franchise that purposefully went against this standard. The way they went about it, in my opinion, is genius, with all sorts of sexual innuendos present in its own design. From the phallic-looking aliens to the vulva-like appearance of the facehuggers. They really said, if we're gonna sexualize women to have an audience, we gotta have to sexualize the man too. No one is safe here. From the words of Dan O'Bannon, the original film screenplay writer, one thing that people are all disturbed about is sex. I said, that's how I'm gonna attack the audience. I'm gonna attack them sexually. And I'm not gonna go after the women in the audience. I'm going to attack the men. I'm going to put in every image I can think of to make the men in the audience cross their legs. Homosexual oral rape, birth, the thing lays its eggs down your throat, the whole number. And this was monumental at the time. A groundbreaking movie that challenged the notion that only women could be put into these uncomfortable and unapologetically horrific sexual circumstances. In the first movie, we have the classic scene where a man gets impregnated by a throat. Wrong hole, but to each their own. With an alien baby which then gloriously bursts out of his chest, killing him in the process. This scene was shocking for audiences worldwide because, yes, having an alien baby burst out of a man's chest is a little bit of an uncomfortable thing to witness, but also because it played on the concept of forced impregnation and forced birth from the perspective of a male character. A situation that in real life no man will ever have to contend with. So this puts the onus on the opposite gender from what Hollywood had seen up until that point. Now, I'm not saying that every single movie should look to close the gender torture gap, brand new sentence, in this exact same way. But if we must have boobies on screen, which I'm not complaining about, the odd badonkers gracing us with their occasional presence every once in a while is very nice to look at. I am a woman of culture after all, but I don't think there's anything wrong with a little bit of an empreg every once in a while. Am I the only one? Am I the odd one out? And then I think it's the obvious transition here. But like most franchises that overstay their welcome looking to milk every little bit of revenue from the original idea, this franchise too fell into the same trap as every other movie I've talked about today. If we compare the death scenes of the male and female characters once again in the latest Alien movie Romulus, we see the same old tired tropes. First character death, girl who gets attacked by a facehugger and impregnated with an alien baby. Mind you, no other male character in this movie gets attacked in the exact same way. This guy gets his face bitten off, but don't worry, the camera pans away before we see him actually die. This guy has alien acid fall on him and decides the best course of action is to stay exactly where he is. It's just to move. Yeah, you had acid falling on your face, to f***ing move. What are you doing? Then he just explodes. I never really got this one, to be honest. And our second female victim gets, you guessed it, impregnated. But like, literally. It's like the aliens finally figured out the way out of a human's body. The right way out of a human's body. Since she was already pregnant when she was caught by the alien, its DNA is somehow fused with the embryos, and then she's forced to give birth to an egg the size of a f***ing watermelon. And she survives! For a bit, until her own child kills her. That's no way to talk to your mother, young man. If this doesn't prove to you that women are the stronger sex, I don't know what to tell you. At the end of the day, it's about intent. I have no issues with sex or nude scenes in movies and in media in general, as long as they serve an artistic purpose, not so that the director and his crew can get off to it. This is the culmination of everything I've talked about in this video. The blatant hypersexualization of women all throughout media. And it's not just about that. I mean, everyone knows that women's sexuality has been used to sell products in every way imaginable for centuries. But I don't think it's wrong to say that it's awful that this has been normalized. That we don't think twice about parading a naked woman's body on screen just so that 50% of the population can be catered to. Because the male audience is not the rule, and it shouldn't be treated as such. It is, however, the power behind the existence of these same scenes. As of 2025, female directors comprise only 6.6% of all editors since 2007, making it a ratio of 8.6 men to 1 female director in the whole industry. So until we address the gender gap that exists not only in the film industry in Hollywood, but in the entertainment medium as a whole, we won't be seeing things change for the better. And its unfortunate normalization not only is happening in front of the camera, but also behind it, which is where I think the biggest problems arrive. Actors like Keira Knightley have had to put a ban on sex scenes with male directors because of how uncomfortable they felt doing it. And there's a lot of times where smaller acts feel pressured to perform said scenes if they want to maintain an acting career. And yes, sex sells, everyone knows that, but it's rarely ever a man's sex that's for sale. So how can we make it better? Well, I'm glad you asked. I believe that the first step should be talking about it, bringing attention to the issue, and starting conversations about it. Don't ever listen to the people that tell you you're being annoying by bringing up these issues, because if they matter to you, that means they matter to someone else, and it's always important to talk about. I think it's super important to support women directors. It doesn't mean that you have to enjoy a movie. If you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it. But if you can go and purchase a ticket for a movie that a woman created, I think that's the first step into bridging the gap. Because women are not given the right opportunities because no one believes that they can surpass the men in the field. And because Hollywood and the entertainment industry as a whole is still very male dominated. And the only way that we can bridge that gender gap is to support women when they create amazing creations, and I'm sure that they do, because we all deserve the same opportunities. And so, I'd like to know your thoughts on this, so please comment down below if you have any examples of movies that you've noticed where this is happening in series and stuff that I probably didn't mention, because there's a lot of examples that I could make a 2-hour, 3-hour video on this, just talking about the overwhelming examples of situations like this that women are put through in movies. If you have any other suggestions, you can put them down in the comments below. Put a like on this video, subscribe, you know, all the YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in whatever I decide to make next. Bye bye.